Okay, so for the corrections for this, I'm kind of going to go back and forth. I'm going to look at the actual test for 1 through 5, and then I'm going to show you and kind of just talk through what you need to do. Because again, most of these questions really mathematically were not hard. It was just knowing how to read the information, what it was asking, definitions of certain vocabulary, stuff like that. So we're going to look at the actual test for 1 through 5, and I'm going to kind of come back here and look at some examples of things for 6 through 11. As always, though, if you watch this video and it's still not making sense, you can always reach out to me and I can help you out. Okay, so for 1 and 2, there is a separate video that I'm posting for that, I'm reposting. I go over how to do 1 and 2 in the review video. So you can look back there if you need help with 1 and 2. Number 3, so a couple things on number 3. I'm going to go ahead and make my screen transparent here. You needed to remember that for 3 and 4, you didn't need this information. YTD means year to date. And again, that means from the beginning of the year. I gave a couple of you guys 1 point for this if you used this column, because it says, what is his net pay for this paycheck? So this column is this paycheck. The YTD is all of the pay and all the taxes since the beginning of the year. So you should have only been using this column. This information will be on a W-2, a pay stub, but you didn't need it. So net pay, here's what you should have in your notes. If you had done the review, net pay is your gross pay minus all of this stuff. So what you wanted to do was figure out what the gross pay was. Now, I know it doesn't say pay or income, but gross earnings. This was the gross pay. This here is all of the stuff coming out of his paycheck. All you had to do, guys, was get the total of this and subtract it. I'm not sure what happened with a couple of you guys there. This was a super easy question, but if you didn't know what to do, you didn't know what to do. So this is the gross pay. All of this stuff is being subtracted from his paycheck. That's all you needed to do to get your answers. So go back to the test and try number 3 if you missed that one. I'm going to go ahead and keep going, though, on to number 4. So number 4 was the same pay stub. Once again, you actually could have used this column here, but we didn't need to. Now, be careful because you had 2 possible questions. Either it was state taxes or federal taxes. It was one or the other. Now, this question was slightly different because it says, what percentage? A percentage is also a fraction, right? Percents are fractions or decimals. All those are the same thing. So if I wanted to find a percentage out of 2 numbers, what I need to do is make a fraction first. So this was the fraction you needed, the taxes over the income. Because this tells us how much of your taxes are going towards your income. Taxes out of income, right? So the income, again, is there. The taxes, however, you had to be careful about. So again, that 746 will go on bottom because that's the income. But depending on your question, so go back and reread your question. All you were supposed to do was only one or the other. You were only supposed to use federal taxes. That would go on top. Or you were only supposed to use state taxes. That would go on top. So go back and read your question. You guys just got to read. It did not say all taxes. It said state only or federal only. And that was it. So reread your question. See what number has to go on top. Once you do see that, you will divide this fraction, get it as a decimal, and then you'll see what your percent is. So go ahead and go back to your test on number 4. See if it was state or federal. Make your fraction, and then get your percent. Okay, number 5, though, we're going to keep going. So number 5, guys, this is the one where you had to make a little table here. You are comparing the standard versus itemizing. Now, you may have gotten lucky on this one, some of you guys, and you're just choosing which one, right? But what you're doing is comparing. You can only do the standard or itemize. So what you need to do is organize this information very carefully. Here is the standard. So that goes in this column. Oops, 350. All of these other numbers together are itemized deductions. You want to see what this comes out to be here. Now, you pick the standard or itemize for whichever one is bigger. So on your correction, this is the work you need to show. You need to show adding up the itemized deductions and seeing if the standard is bigger, if the itemized is bigger. Again, if the standard is bigger, claim the standard's the answer. If the itemized is bigger, itemized is the answer, right? So you got to see what these three numbers add up to be. So go back to your test, put the standard in one column, add the itemized in the others, see which one is bigger, and that's your answer. Okay, so going on to number 6 here. So guys, again, do your review. I don't know what to tell you. This was a super easy question on number 6 because all you had to do was read the W-2. You guys have seen some examples of W-2s. Here is, I'm going to go ahead and stop doing this. Here is a couple other examples of W-2s. They all look vaguely similar. Every business kind of has its own like formatting, I guess you'd say, but everything is the same in that box 1 is always your income. On every single person's W-2, see where it says box 1 here? It says wages, tips, and other compensation. That's income. Box 1 is always the income. Now, a couple of you guys got confused because you didn't do your lessons and so you did not see a W-2, possibly. 1, 3, and 5 are repeating themselves, right? It was the same here as well. Box 1, 3, and 5 repeated themselves. They just show your income several different times for different reasons. Occasionally, box 1 can be different from 3 and 5. It's pretty rare. You have to make a lot of money for that to be the case. And again, don't be too confused about that. This is basically what they're basing off your Social Security taxes on. This is what you're basing their Medicare taxes on. I know that's a little bit confusing, but box 1 is always the income. So looking back to number 6, read box 1. That's your answer. That's it. So write down that correction and then come back if you need help on number 7. So this is the answer, 47,945. That was it. All you had to do was know how to read the W-2. Now going on from here to number 7, Karina is filing head of household, is claiming a standard deduction. What is her taxable income? So again, we found that was her gross income, but not all of that's going to get taxed because we have a standard deduction to take care of. It's a deduction. What do you think you should do? You should subtract, right? Hey, Ashley, what's up? Doing good. I do, yes. Okay. Right, right. Okay. Yeah. Right. 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 I think so. I mean, he's done pretty well in my class. There's been once or twice where he's fallen behind on things, but then he's gone back and made it up. So overall, he seems like he's a good student. I would be fine with it. But I'm not sure yet about his other classes. I think he would do okay. Okay, right. Besides the fire science, yeah. Right. 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 And that's what if kids come to ask about it, it's like, well, you don't have a unique circumstance. If you're just like, oh, I just don't want to come 5 days a week. Well, okay, no. Right, yeah. No problem. Okay, bye. Okay, I gotta cut this then. Okay, going back to this. Sorry, I had to cut that part out. Okay, So again, a standard deduction means that you're subtracting it. You should be subtracting these two numbers, and that is your answer. Because again, that is a chunk of money the government is pretending you did not make. They're not going to tax you on it. That's what I mean when I say they pretend you didn't make it. They won't tax you on it. So the taxable income is this number minus this. So go ahead and subtract those two and then come back to the video here and we'll keep going. So guys, here's what I warned you about. If you got to number 8 and you had an income that didn't fall on this table, you knew you were doing something wrong. Your answer from number 7 needs to be a 29,000 number. If not, you were doing something wrong. So you should, again, know how to do this. So take your answer from number 7. Look it up in the table. She is head of household. If you are still struggling with this table, again, I do have a separate video going over that table, but you can also ask me. So go ahead and get your answer here. Try and look up the table, and then we'll keep going into number 9. Okay, so focusing real quickly, we're going to come back to this, but this answer in number 8 is how much she should have paid. Right? We pay taxes throughout the year, and then when we file, we figure out how much we actually should have paid. Now, in number 9, guys, once again, if you did not do the review, then you might have been a little uncertain. It says, looking back at Karina's W-2 from question 6, how much did she already pay in federal income tax? Guys, you had to read the W-2. That's it. Looking back up here. Find the box that says federal income tax. I know it's a little faint, but you should be able to read it. That's the answer right there. Box 1 is always your income. Box 2 is always your federal income tax. You are not supposed to add anything together. It just said federal income tax. Guys, read. That's your answer for number 9. This is what she did pay. So go ahead and write that down. Come back. We'll finish up with 10 and 11. So in 10, guys, what you needed to realize is based on what she should have paid, that's your answer in number 8. And I'm actually going to go ahead and write this down. Based on what she should have paid, this is number 8. What she did pay, this is number 9. Whichever one is bigger tells you if she gets a refund or if she owes. So 8 ended up being bigger, right? So that means that she should have paid more and she didn't pay enough. That's why she owes, because the answer in number 8 is bigger. To wrap up number 11, I know I'm going to kind of fast through this. I just want to wrap this up. Number 11 then is the difference between these answers for 8 and 9, right? Because she owes more money. She's going to have to pay them the rest. So number 10, what she should have paid is bigger. That's why it's O. Number 11, regardless, you should have subtracted. Now, I know I went through this kind of quickly. I kind of rushed this video because I had a phone call in the middle and I wasn't able to go very quickly through this. Slowly. So please reach out. I kind of just talked through everything, but if you're unsure, let me know and I can help.